From Rhode Island, Tatianna Noriega, The Destruction of a Beautiful Mind.
Hi. Okay, I'd like to point out, yes, that my title was not very creative, and I apologize for that. I'm going to talk to you about a few things. I did a sculpture for my Beautiful Minds project, but you're not going to see the sculpture, and you're not going to see a picture of the sculpture. The sculpture is for me. It really is. What I want to focus on is the feelings behind the sculpture and why I made the sculpture in the first place. Growing up, I was a very creative little girl. You know, the whole 50 set of markers, I was that cool kid with 100 pack of crayons that everyone would be friends with because I had periwinkle. Yeah, I was that kid. So it wasn't a big surprise to my family or to me when I started to explore other forms of art growing up. It was a way for me to really just work through things, to do different things. So whether that be poetry, photography, I'm not good at, or sculptures, I've been really good with 3D. It was just great for me, but I never felt I was good enough for it, because I would sit here and have my piece of artwork that I was so just amazed by that I created, and I would just look at other people and I'd be like, this isn't good enough. I don't want to show it to other people. I don't want people to look at it. It's not good enough. It just wasn't my standard. So it came to a point where I realized a friend of mine was in my closet where I keep all of my old artwork. And she's flipping through it, and it's like canvas after canvas and sculpture after sculpture. And she's like, these are really good. I didn't even know you did this. A lot of my friends don't know that I do that in my spare time. I just told her, oh, it's nothing. It's just junk. Put it away. A few weeks later, I got a Beautiful Minds prompt. And it said, create something out of destruction. And I was like, oh, I'll be creative. I'll take my art pieces, and I'll just make something out of them. I'll destroy them, and I'll make something beautiful. But I was like, that's, to me, I want something more out of that. If I'm going to put time and effort into it, I want something more. I did it as a self-journey. I did it to show myself that I could finish it. A lot of those sculptures, a lot of those art pieces were unfinished for me because pieces that I once were proud of, I looked at them and I just deconstructed them in my mind so much that I just gave up on them. I abandoned them. I realized that I'm my own worst critic, and I realized a lot of more too. Because although I see it in my art, and I hold myself back from creating something very beautiful, I see it in a lot of other people. I see it in girls who pinch their back around their waist because they're not skinny enough. I see it in the students with their book this close, their face this close to a book, who are studying for the SATs and cry in the middle of the night because their scores aren't high enough. I see it in my parents who want to make a good life for their children, but they don't think they're good enough. I see it in everyone. And I realized that we hold ourselves back from a lot. We really do. If we actually put forth a little bit of motivation, just being okay to say, I'm proud of myself. I'm allowed to be happy with this piece of crap that I made because I made it. I'm allowed to try and push myself to reach farther standards. I'm allowed to abandon things. But what I wanted to do for this was not abandon it, because that wasn't going to reach my expectation. For my sculpture, I spent 3 painstaking months, and at least 2 of those months were me wanting to give up. I wanted to throw it away, I wanted to put it back in my closet, I never wanted to look at it again, but I finished it. I finished it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could. I wanted to show myself that I was good enough. I wanted to show that I could create something beautiful for myself. That I wasn't just what I said I was. That I was a wannabe artist. I was never going to be good enough. It didn't really matter what I did because what kind of career is art anyway. I could never write because everybody's a writer. I could never do anything because everybody else is already that and so much better than I am. So why don't I just do things that are okay? I wanted to prove to myself that I could be that person that I thought everybody else was. And I think in doing it, I did it. Since then, I have completed 7 paintings, 6 more sculptures, and filled 3 booklets this big filled with poetry. And I did this because I knew that I could, and I pushed myself to finish it. And I finally stopped thinking myself as not good enough. I stopped becoming the destruction, and I wanted to create some beauty out of myself. Thank you for your question.